Hello everyone! In today's video we're going to go over how to make this mitered granny square. In this tutorial I was using this loops and thread yarn in the color Sage, as well as this loops and thread yarn in the color Ivy, and this red heart super saver in the color White, as well as a 4mm crochet hook and a pair of scissors to cut off my work. Though you can make this mitered granny square with whatever size yarn and hook that you have, you just want to make sure that all of the yarns are the same size. We're going to go ahead and get started with a slip knot using the first color that we're going to be using for the mitered granny square. And you can make your slip knot as always, however is easiest for you. And then once we have our slip knot, we're going to start by chaining 4. So we're going to yarn over and pull through the loop that's already on our hook. And we're going to do that 3 more times. 2, 3, and 4. So now that we have those 4 chains, we're going to find the first one here, and we're going to make a slip stitch in order to make a circle. So we're going to insert our hook. We're going to pull up a loop from the yarn that's in the back, through that chain, and through the loop that's already on our hook. And then we're going to do the next 2 rounds as if we're just doing a standard granny square. So we're going to start by chaining 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go back to this circle here that we just made with the slip stitch. And into the middle of the circle, we're going to put 2 more double crochets. So this chain 3 is going to act as if it is a double crochet. So we're making a cluster of 3. So we're going to yarn over, insert into the circle, pull up a loop. We have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then 1 more into the circle, yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So this is going to act as if it is our first cluster of 3 double crochets. And you can see too as well, this is the excess from the slip knot that we did to start our project. And I just made those double crochets over that so that at the end, it's just 1 less end that we have to weave in. So now we're going to make a corner by chaining 2. And then into the middle of this circle again, we're going to make 3 double crochets. So we're going to make the first one here. That's 2. And then 1 more for 3. So then we're going to make a corner again by chaining 2, 1, 2, and into the middle of the circle again, we're going to make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. So now we just need to make another corner here by chaining 2, and into the circle we're going to put 3 double crochets, and that's going to be our last cluster for this first round here. So 1, 2, and 3. So now we just need to make our last corner for round 1. So we're going to chain 2. And then we're going to find the top of this chain 3 that we did to start the round. So if I pull you in a little bit closer here, you can see 1, 2, and then 3. And we're going to insert our hook into the top, the 3rd chain. And we're going to make a slip stitch by pulling the yarn in the back through that chain 3 and through the loop that's already on our hook. And that is the first round completed. So to start our second round here, we're going to begin by chaining 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what we're going to do now is we're going to skip all 3 of these double crochets beneath us, and into this corner space here we're going to start by making 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to make the corner here by chaining 2, and we're going to make 3 double crochets again into that same corner space beneath us. 2 and 3. So once we've finished that last double crochet to make a cluster of 3, you can see that beneath us here we have what is 3 double crochets. So every time we reach that space where there's 3 double crochets beneath us, we're going to chain 1 in order to skip it. And then we're going to go ahead and work into this corner space again by making 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then we need to make the corner again, which we're going to do by chaining 2, and into that same space beneath us, this corner space right here, we're going to make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to continue doing that until we get to what's going to be this last corner space here. I'll meet you there. And if you need to go back, you can go ahead and do that using the timestamps below. Or I'll also link the step-by-step tutorial for a standard granny square. But whenever we have this chain cluster of 3 that's beneath us, we're going to chain 1. Into the corner spaces for this round, we're going to put 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 1, and then we're going to do 3 double crochets again, but I'll meet you once we get here. All right, so I've made my first cluster of 3 into this last corner space beneath us. So then I'm going to chain 2 to make the corner. So what we need now is we need 2 double crochets. So this chain 4 that we did to start the round, 3 of those are going to act as if it is a double crochet, so like it did for the previous round beneath us. And then the 1 is the chain 1 in order to skip the cluster of 3 beneath us. So in order to get a cluster of 3 here, we just need 2 more. So that's 1 double crochet and 2 double crochets, and then again we need to find the chain 3. So we need 1 chain here, 2 chain 3, there's one additional one that's going to be to skip the space. So we're going to insert into the 3rd chain, and we're going to make a slip stitch in order to attach. So that is the 2nd round completed. But what we're actually going to be doing for the next round is we're going to switch colors. So I'm just going to chain 1, and I'm going to grab my scissors, and I'm going to cut off. And then I'm going to pull my hook up and pull tight. And if you want to make sure that it is more secure, you can knot here. But if not, you just want to weave this in at the end. But what we're going to do next is we're going to grab our 2nd color, and we're going to start round 3. So to start our next round, you're going to grab your next color, which I'm using this darker green color, and we're going to once again begin with a slip knot. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to slip the slip knot off of my hook, and I'm going to insert my hook into one of the corner spaces here. Put my hook through, I'm going to slip the slip knot back on my hook, and then I'm going to begin by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3. So that chain 3 is going to once again act as if it is a double crochet, and I'm going to add 2 more to make a cluster of 3 double crochets. So then what we're going to do, we see beneath us we have this cluster of 3, so we need to chain 1 in order to skip that. And so we have this space beneath us right here, so we're going to make a cluster of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to chain 1 again to skip this cluster beneath us. And into the corner space, we're going to begin with a cluster of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Then chain 2 to make a corner. And again, into that same space, we're going to make a cluster of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1 to skip the cluster of 3 beneath us, and working into this space, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1 again. And into this space here, we're going to work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now, instead of making the corner and working around again, what we're going to do is we're going to start differing from a standard granny square, and we're actually going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to turn our work. So that is going to act as if it is a double crochet and the chain 1 space to skip this cluster of 3 that we just made. So now we're going to be working 3 double crochets into this space right here. 1, 2, and 3. Now everything is going to be more or less the same until we get to around here. So again, once we have this cluster beneath us, we're going to chain 1, 3 double crochets into these spaces, chain 1 over the clusters. When we get to the corner, it's going to be 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and so on. So if you want to meet me once we get to around here once more, and we can go over how we're going to end this round. All right, so I've chained 1 to skip this cluster right here, and into this space we're going to work a cluster of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to chain 1 to skip this cluster beneath us. But then instead, of course, of working like we did in previous rounds, like we did with the lighter green, what we're going to do is we're going to find the top of the chain 3, and we're going to work a double crochet into that space. So this is the last stitch that we need for this second color. So I'm going to chain 1 and grab my scissors once more and cut off, pull up my hook, and pull tight. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn our project over once more, and then we're going to get started with our next color, which we're going to attach right in this corner here. But that is the 4th round completed. Getting started on our next round, we're going to once again go ahead and make a slip knot. And then just like we did when we did the second color here, we're going to slip that off our hook. We're going to insert our hook in here into this space, slip the slip knot back on our hook and pull through. And we're going to start by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's going to act as if it is a double crochet. And then we need to make 2 more double crochets into this space to make what looks like a cluster of 3. All right, so then just like we've done for the previous rounds, once we have this cluster beneath us, we're going to chain 1 to skip it. And then in this space here, we're going to again make our cluster of 3 double crochets. Chain 1 to skip this cluster, make a cluster of 3 double crochets, so if you want to keep doing that until we get to this space around here, we're going to again chain 1 to skip the clusters beneath us. In the corner, we're going to put 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and so on until we get to around here. So if you want to meet me there, you can go ahead and do that. All right, I've just chained 1 to skip this cluster beneath us, and then we're going to end this round with a cluster of 3 double crochets into this space. 1, 2, and 3. And then just like we did for this round right here, we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then turn our work again. So that is again going to act as if it is a double crochet and then a chain 1 to skip this cluster that we just did. So we're going to again work 3 double crochets into this space. 1, 2, 3, chain 1 to skip this cluster beneath us, 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, and then we're going to do the corner as we've done for all of the previous rounds. So if you want to once again meet me near the end, and we can go over how to finish. All right, so I've chained 1 to skip this cluster here, and we're going to work our last cluster of 3 double crochets into this space right here. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to chain 1 to skip this cluster, and we're going to end by again finding the top of the chain 3 that is beneath us and putting a double crochet in there. So then we just need to cut off this color. We're going to chain 1 and cut off. Pull up our hook, pull tight. As always, you can knot there if you want to be more secure. If you want to keep going, you just turn your work and you would attach a new color, and you can make this as big as you want. If you want to make a whole blanket, this just using 1 single square, you could keep doing that until you get there. But this is where I'm going to end my project. The thing you need to do at the end is you would need to weave in all of your ends here, as well as from the slip knot if you did not crochet over it. But if not, you could continue going as big as you want to make the project. But this is where I am going to stop. Please let me know, as always, if you have any questions in the comments down below, or if there are any tutorials or stitches that you'd like to see in a future video. Thank you.